My best friend wants me to marry her boyfriend. Emma and I had been friends almost since we were born. I remember going to grade school, gripping my mum's hand, not sure of what grade school is like. I knew it sure would be different from what we had in the kindergarten. As soon as we walked into the class, I saw a little girl, 6 years old, just like me, surrounded by other kids. She was sitting with a wide smile in the centre of the crowd, talking, making everyone laugh. She saw me and stood up. The crowd of kids created a path for her as she neared me, spread her hand, and beamed. "Welcome," she said, even though it was the first day for her too. "I'm Emma. What's your name?" "Hannah," I answered, lost in her big green eyes. She held my hand and walked me into the group. I sat with everyone as Emma kept on telling her story. I watched her, and I could feel a strange yet sweet feeling in my heart. I knew there was a special bond between us. Since that day, we hadn't been separated for more than a few days. Emma was an only child, and I had 2 brothers, so we found a sister we'd always needed in each other. Emma and I went into the same school clubs, and the same college. The term best friends wasn't enough to describe our relationship. My mother often said that Emma and I were like lost twins that God created, but just in 2 different families. "Are you sisters?" the strangers would ask. "Are you twins?" Emma and I would laugh. "Almost," we'd answer. Other than our appearances and similar personalities, there was a deeper connection between us. It felt like there was a transparent string attached to Emma and me, sending signals. If Emma had pain, I had pain in the same body part. If she was sad or depressed, I could feel my happiness vanishing. We felt everything together. So when in the middle of the night a piercing ache in my heart woke me up, I jumped out of bed, running off to Emma's room. We had both moved together into the same apartment some years earlier. I barged into her bedroom, and there I saw Emma crumpled on the floor, clenching her chest, screaming with pain. "Oh God, Emma!" I started crying with her as I dialed 911 on my phone with trembling hands. Jeff, Emma's boyfriend, rushed to the hospital as soon as I called him. We spent that night wide awake, sitting at Emma's bed in the hospital room, watching her sleep. Her peaceful face sparked hope in me, praying to God to not let anything bad happen to Emma. But the next day, my world crumbled into pieces. The answers to the tests were ready, and the doctor informed us about Emma's condition. She had advanced heart disease, and she had only 6 months to live. I felt like the sky was breaking down on me. The ground was cracking and dragging me into hell. I fell on my knees, grabbing Emma's hand. "I will die with you," I kept mumbling. "I don't want to live without you." Jeff hugged her, tears rolling out of his eyes. "Don't be silly," she smiled with teary eyes. "Everything will be fine." But I couldn't understand it. How could everything be fine when soon I'd lose the biggest part of me? We decided to spend her remaining few months doing what Emma loved the most, going to the beach, walking in the beautiful parks, reading, watching movies. The 3 of us spent the days as Emma liked. All the driving Jeff took on himself. He even shared the medical bills with Emma and me. "I've got everything I need," Emma would say, and grab Jeff's and my hand. "The most important people are by my side." She got weaker day by day, and I felt like she was slowly disappearing, like snow on a spring day. I kept trying to seem happy, to force a smile, but I'd lock myself in the bathroom every night, quietly crying. One day Emma called me when I was making dinner. I immediately sat beside her. Jeff was beside Emma too. "I want to talk to you both," she said, and looked at me. Emma smiled and held my hand, just like the first day I met her in grade school. "Jeff is the best man I've ever met, Hannah," she said. "He's sweet, kind, and when he loves someone, he loves with his whole heart." Then she turned to Jeff. "Hannah is the kindest girl you can find, Jeff," she said. Her heart can fit the whole world. She cares about her loved ones with all her energy. Then Emma looked at both of us. I'm sure you will love each other dearly. What do you mean? Jeff asked. You've had 3 serious relationships, Hannah, and every one of them ended terribly, she said, because those men didn't deserve you. They were selfish and toxic. You know that. I'm afraid you'll fall into another terrible man's claws again, so I want to ask you something. I want both of you to get married, she said, to each other. What? I laughed in surprise, but Emma seemed serious. It's my last wish, she said, so before I die, I can be sure you won't fall into the wrong hands. You'll be happy with each other. Jeff and I shared a shocked look. But I love you, Emma, said Jeff. You are the one I want to get married to. I'm dying, Jeff. Emma smiled sadly, and Hannah will replace me. Shocked and confused, I couldn't believe her. I thought it was a ridiculous idea, but as time passed and I watched Emma get worse, Jeff and I couldn't help her but agree. It was the last thing we could make her happy with. I had always liked Jeff as a person because I could see how much he loved my friend, how much he'd tried for her. But as the decision of getting married to him rooted in my mind, all of that affection vanished. I didn't want to be with him, but I had no other choice. Okay, Emma, I said one day, we'll do it for you. We'll get married. Really? Emma beamed with happiness. Yes, Jeff nodded, but only because it's your wish. So 2 days later, Jeff and I met up and talked completely formally like a business meeting. We decided to live together while Emma was alive and divorce after her death. We didn't have any wedding, only signed the papers, and Jeff moved into our apartment to stay closer to Emma. The 3 of us spent almost every day together, and I could notice her smiling more. Her skin wasn't as pale, and she looked stronger. I thought our marriage made her so happy that it gave her strength. As time passed, living with Jeff grew on me. He made me laugh, cooked dinner every evening. We'd spend nights watching TV or talking about Emma. I cried on his shoulder and felt his palm gently rubbing my back. Soon I realized why Emma thought Jeff was the best man she had ever met. Because he really was. His kind words and jokes could make me forget my worries. So one day, when I hugged him after sobbing about my friend, I leaned in and kissed him, and he kissed me back. When I felt his strong arms around me, I confessed to myself I had fallen in love with him. A few months passed, and the time neared the day everyone dreaded, the day of Emma's death. We took her to the hospital and spent the night with her, waiting for the test results. In the morning, the doctor walked in with a bright smile. We had been working on medication for heart disease with worldwide doctors for years, he said, and last month we finally found the cure that could help you get better and increase your chance of living a bit longer. If you agree, we'll share all the details and start treating you. With this cure, you can live a few more years, maybe even 10 or more. Emma was head over heels with happiness. We cried together, laughed and screamed from elation. I couldn't believe this miracle. I looked at Jeff, hugging Emma. He looked at me too, and I noticed sparks of sadness in his eyes. Something nibbled my heart. I was starting beating myself up for feeling this way. Why was a tiny part of me disappointed? Wasn't Emma surviving everything I had ever wished for? Now I can get back to you, Emma said to Jeff, then to me, and I'll stop nagging you about being with him. You'll be free again, Hannah. Aren't you happy?" "Yes, of course," I answered. In a few minutes, while Emma called her parents, I went into the bathroom. I lifted my shirt. My belly had grown. I brushed my fingers against it, whispering, "Mummy loves you so much and can't wait to hold you." I watched my round belly and caressed it while the questions fogged my mind. How could I tell Emma that I was carrying Jeff's baby? How could I say I had fallen in love with him? Could I leave Jeff for Emma? Or could I cut off Emma, the biggest part of my life? It was true that I had been with Jeff for only a few months, but it felt like I had known him my whole life, and now I couldn't imagine living without him. I knew I couldn't keep both of them. I loved Emma and Jeff with all my heart, but I knew soon I would lose one of them. Watch out for the concluding part, and please share the story and subscribe if you want more stories like this.